Hello, welcome to Design Space Friday with Shirley Ross, a Close to My Heart consultant. Today we're going to be playing with one of the Complete Creativity layouts. That's the new Cricut cartridge from Cricut Digital Collection from Close to My Heart. So let's bring one in and let's go to cartridges. Let's search on Complete Creativity and let's bring it in. The layout we're going to work with is this one. I worked with it a little bit last Design Space Friday. We've got it in the queue, so let's insert. So we're going to manipulate it a little bit here before we send it to the mat and cut it, because there's a few things that we want to do with it. Number one, I'm going to move it up a little bit. It is grouped together, so it kind of shows you the double page layout. So the first thing we're going to do is ungroup it. It is considered a large file because of the number of images on it, so sometimes it takes it a little bit longer to show up between actions that you take. So you can see it is 11.62. We need it to be 11.5. I like to just type it in. You could use the down arrows. And I left the proportion on so that it will be proportionate in how it changes. So we're just going to do that one too. So now both of our borders that are going to go on the top of our layout are the same size. Okay. The next thing I want to do is I am not going to be using any of these cutouts that you see here for the photos. Sometimes these are just used for photo placements, and sometimes they're used as mats. I can save paper by just grabbing my scrap white paper to make mats. So I'm not going to cut those out on the Cricut. So it's just a matter of finding all of them and hiding them. So those are hidden. So now we just have the green mats. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to play with the tree. So I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to bring the tree in, and I'm going to arrange it to the front. Okay, the tree, I'm going to have it cut out of this mat so that you're going to put a photo over it, so it doesn't matter. But by attaching it to the mat, then it will become one image, and it will make it easier when it comes to cutting. It just saves space. So we'll select both of those, and I'm not going to slice. I'm just going to go ahead and do sorry. Yeah, I did attach. Thought for a minute I hit weld. I did the attach. So now it's attached to the mat. So when it cuts, that will cut out in the center. You can put the photo over the top. That is going to make it work just perfectly. So now the rest of the manipulation we're going to do, we are going to do in Color Sync and make it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to Color Sync, because even though all of these look white, when they're making the design, sometimes they don't actually make them all the same white. So I do want them all to be the same white. So I'm just going to drag them down. Now on this one, there is, on the Close to My Heart cardstock, we do have a dark side and a light side. So I'm going to leave those two. But on the green, I want them all to be the same color of green. I'm not going to worry about the light and dark on those. So I'm finished with the Color Sync. So now let's do Make It. Now this is where you can start manipulating directly from the mat. Now the way Close to My Heart and Cricut designed this, they're not attached. They're actually, this is how the image is done. So there's nothing we can do about moving just these individually, but we can move some of these around. So I can move those to the inside. The same, if you come here, you're going to see there's some that are cut out here, and I'm actually going to move them to the first mat. So we're just going to click on these three dots here, click Move to another mat, and we're going to take them to the first mat, and we're going to put it in the center. And then we're going to do that again for all of these. Yes, this is going to take a few minutes, so please bear with me as I do this. And move that one to the center. We'll do it again. the 3 dots, move to another mat, select the first one, and move it over here. All right, there's only a couple more of these, so it won't take but a few more minutes, and then we'll do some more manipulation. And this is just to kind of save space on your paper so you'll have larger leftovers. I like to have large pieces when I'm done so that I can use those scraps for other things. And one more, and then we will. There we go. So those are all in there. So then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to come down here to the title, and the title will fit really nicely inside the wreath on the second mat. So then we'll just slide it down. So we went for cutting 3 different white pieces of paper to just cutting 2, and then putting the pieces in a way that it will make them, see, we can even bring these up here inside. I just like to try to save space and scraps wherever I can, so that you have, like I said, so you have larger scraps. If you were doing 2 layouts and you were like, one of them had stars, you could move those in here. You could just maybe cut out some stars. You can add some other things if you want to use up that space when you're cutting. Okay, so the next one I'm going to talk to you about is, again, I explained to you that Close to My Heart has cardstock that is double-sided. It's dark on one side, light on the other. So when I go to cut this out, I'll put it on the mat with the opening that you hang it by at the top, and the dark side up on the paper, and then I'll run it through the Explorer. And when it comes out, when I unload it, I'm going to just flip the mat around and put it in from this direction. And it will be on this mat to cut. So the dark side's up, and I want to cut this on the light side. So I'm going to mirror image this so that it will cut on the light side of the paper without having to take it off the mat and then put it back on the mat and run it back through. I can just put it through the Explorer. It cuts this side, flip the mat on the machine, put it back into the machine, and cut this one. Now, remember on the green one, we had the tree to cut into the center. We attached it. So all of this will cut on one sheet, and the tree will cut out. And that will be all that we need. So I hope you enjoyed learning some mat manipulation and how to play with images to get the most cuts out of the paper and save some paper. And I can't wait to share some more next week. Enjoy your weekend. Again, this is Shirley Ross, a Close to My Heart consultant.